Hello everyone. Today I would like to walk you through an important update regarding Azure Low Priority Virtual Machines. Microsoft has announced that low priority VMs will retire on September 30, 2025. After that point, Azure machine learning workloads will only be supported on dedicated VMs. So, with full support continuing until March 31st, 2026, what this means is that any compute clusters that still rely on low priority VMs may automatically scale down or stop functioning as expected after the retirement date. To avoid that disruption, Microsoft strongly recommends migrating your clusters to dedicated VMs ahead of time. Microsoft has published a migration guide to help with this transition. So, it includes step by step instructions on moving from low priority to dedicated nodes, whether you're using Azure Batch or Azure Machine Learning. So, when you wanted to go through a required action that is straightforward, you can create any clusters currently using low priority VMs as dedicated VM clusters before 31st, 2026 to ensure ongoing support and avoid downtime. Creating and attaching a compute cluster in machine learning. Let's walk through how to create and attach a compute cluster in Azure Machine Learning using Machine Learning Studio. A compute cluster is a managed pool of CPU or a GPU nodes that can automatically scale up when jobs are submitted or you can scale down when idle, right? While executing the jobs or helping you optimize both performance and cost. To get started, you will need an Azure Machine Learning workspace. Once you are in Machine Learning Studio, like mentioned here, you will begin by choosing the location by selecting a virtual machine size. That is most important because VM size determines the hardware capabilities that are available for your training or interfere workloads. For GPU based training, make sure you pick a GPU optimized VM size. So you will then compute the cluster scaling setting. Here you can set minimum or maximum node counts, and you will automatically scale the cluster up or down based on the job demand that you have. You can also specify the idle time before node scale down, which helps control the cost. If needed, you can also configure networking, such as attaching the cluster to a virtual network for more secure or isolated environments. Azure Machine Learning has deployment of required network resources like public IPs and load balancers, depending on the VNet configuration that you have. Once you finish entering the values, select just create, and then Azure will provision the require cluster. Once ready, it will appear in your compute list, and then you can use for training jobs, pipelines, or batch interferences, whichever you need. If you want to attach an existing compute target like Kubernetes cluster or VMs created outside Azure ML, go to the attached compute tab under manage compute. So once you go inside the manage compute, select new and follow the instructions to attach it securely. Note that Azure recommendations using SSH keys rather than passwords for better security, and that completes the complete setup. You now have a compute cluster ready to support scalable machine learning workloads. If you need any additional help, you can open a support case with Microsoft, and then they'll keep in mind that some links may lead to third party sites with your or own terms of privacy statements. and then they'll assist you based on the case that you created. Finally, for broader visibility um, into the upcoming Azure service retirements, you can also refer to the retirement workbook. So I'm also providing the support case link and the question and answer section from Microsoft listed below. Thank you and have a great day.